Welcome back for week number 9 of AP Research. This week we're going to be dealing with a whole bunch of process stuff that you need to be turning in. It's kind of like a catch-up week. And then we're going to get back to adding new components on. So this particular talk is going to deal with the initial inquiry proposal and the specific parts. It's not due until the end of November, but still, we don't want to wait till the last second to get this sucker done. So there are 10 parts, well, technically 9, and then one for me saying yes, okay to it. These are the components that are required by the College Board and the AP research course, that we have to do these things, and I just want to talk about each one of them so that there's no surprises. So the first one, research question with associated project goals if applicable, so include advised question if needed. So when you write down your question, you should be saying if you're exploring, creating, if you're going to explore, create, explain, you should make reference to who specifically you're measuring or what specifically you're measuring, whether, and it should be implicit what type of domain you're dealing with. Are you dealing with natural sciences? Are you dealing with history? Are you dealing with sociology? Are you dealing with biology? Are you dealing with architecture? Whatever. It should be somewhat explicit within your question so that we know exactly what you're going to do, or at least pretty good idea simply based upon your question. We should have a good idea just by looking at the question. Project goals are things like, as a result of doing my study or as a result of creating fill in the blank, here should be our new insight, or here's what we're all going to get out of it. So that's what a project goal is. What should the end result be? Because you kind of have the end result in mind. Not every question will turn out to have project goals. Second one, reasons for choosing the topic of interest in research project / research question / project goal. You've done this before. Hopefully you can justify this using bits of your annotated bibliography, which is why I'm having you do an annotated bibliography. Question number 3, so what data or information that you will have to collect in order to answer the research question or address the project. Obviously, you need to talk about whether or not you're collecting qualitative data or quantitative data, and hopefully you know the difference by now. Are you going to do both? So you're doing mixed methods? Are you actually creating a product? Hopefully, whatever your research question is, it needs to match what type of data you're gathering, because if the two don't match, your data aren't going to answer your question and you're wasting your time, which means either change what you're collecting or you need to change your question. So you're asked to give some sources, so you have an annotated bibliography. Include, random video. Where are you, Grace?
IKEA.
What are we on?
A bus.
Because she felt obligated to give a kiss, I don't know why. She said, we're right here, if you're not sure what she said at the start. For the 5th question, so choose or develop a research method to collect and analyze the above data or information. So you don't need to say specifics as to what you're doing, but you should have a general idea as to, I'm going to give a survey, then analyze the survey, and then I'm going to randomly sample some people, and then I'm going to give them a post-interview to verify that my survey, otherwise called an instrument, turns out to work. So with your method, it should be the thing that's going to connect the type of data you're collecting. So if you sit there and saying, I'm going to interview a bunch of people, but I'm collecting quantitative data, those two don't match. And especially if you're end up collecting research or interview stuff, which is qualitative, but you're trying to try and create something, which those two might not turn out to work. So hopefully your question and your data are connected through whatever method you think you're going to be doing. So the basic analysis part's like, I'll do some statistics, or I'm going to cluster common terms, or whatever you're going to end up doing. You don't need to say uber specifics, but you should have an idea as to what you're going to do. So you're not just making it up as you go. You shouldn't be making it up as you go. Is there any resources that you're going to need? A lot of you, I'm hoping it's going to say nothing, or you're going to need access to what other people have done, or you're going to need to get permissions. So challenges, so this is where you're going to try and figure out what's going to go wrong so that you are ready for when things go wrong, because things are going to go wrong. Every method that you're going to follow is going to turn out to have some type of inherent issue with it, so it's going to have some type of bias, or you're going to have the bias, or you're going to have issues with assumptions, so we're going to have sources of error. So you should anticipate what your issues are going to be before you start, so that you're going to try and mitigate it as much as possible. Last one really for you is dealing with IRB. So who are you going to need approval from? If you're getting information from other sources, you have to make sure, meaning you're not directly gathering it from people, so you're going to get information from other institutions. Did you get permission from them? They might require you to fill out an IRB too, so you might have multiple IRBs to fill out. Are you going to need permission forms and, you know, authorizations and consent forms and stuff like that? That's what all falls into question 8. Again, we have a month to get this done, but the sooner the better.